Folks, we're going to go to some CNN footage. Here is a CNN panel after the Democratic quote-unquote primary in New Hampshire. Van Jones starts talking about how it's a real shame that the Democrats did not allow for a real primary, and he gets some pushback from Kate Bedingfield, who is one of the new sort of high-profile Dem hack operatives to go out to the media and say, no, this is actually a totally fair process.
The Mark Regev of the DNC.
Yeah, the Mark Regev of the DNC, exactly. All right, here we go.
So embarrassing and weird that we can't just have a normal primary. Look, I love South Carolina. I'm glad that South Carolina is going first. But there's something wrong in a party where you have this much discontent with the candidate and nobody can figure out a way to vote or do anything that counts or send a signal or send up a smoke signal, get a carrier pigeon, do something and listen to the fact that people in this party are very worried that Biden's not the right person. And so, and by the way, he can't give a speech now because his kids are so upset. In 1968, there was an unpopular war with very scary images, and it mobilized a generation and it hurt Democrats in 68.
He's referring to the fact that Biden gave a pro-choice speech in Virginia, and it was interrupted about 13 times by ceasefire protests. That's what he's referencing there.
Well, that was the example that Dean Phillips chose to.
Exactly.
I mean, he thought he could be Eugene McCarthy.
In that, yeah.
I mean, there was an opportunity for a candidate other than Joe Biden to make moves here, and for voters in New Hampshire to say we want to see somebody different than Joe Biden. And Joe Biden won in a write-in by 3 to 1.
But do you feel good about it? Hold on. But do you feel good about the fact that these people who did go for Dean, their stuff that doesn't count anyway? There's no way for anybody in this party to register an effective, even protest vote because the DNC ziplocked this thing before anybody had a chance.
You don't think if there had been an unexpected level of support for Dean Phillips in this process today, that there would have been more of a reckoning? There was absolutely the opportunity for people to make their voice heard, but people want to see Joe Biden be the nominee. Joe Biden beat Donald Trump
what are you
in 2020.
In terms of people not what part of it makes you feel they were cut off from the process?
Well, the fact that, first of all, I think Dean Phillips begged everybody to run, begged Gavin to run, Gretchen to run. The people who were basically managing themselves for 2028 didn't want to run, so he had to kind of kamikaze himself. But the way that the DNC is operating is sending the signal that this is Joe Biden's party, perfectly fine, and that no dissent is welcome, and that's the message that's being received.
I think here's what I think.
President, though, I mean, he is the head of the party. It is Joe Biden's party.
Right.
I mean, he's the head of the party.
Well,
now, you may not want to see him be the nominee, but a lot of Democrats
tell that to all these young voters.
A lot of Democrats do.
Okay, so there are the two things here. Okay, what Van Jones is saying is obviously true, that there was no way to register an effective rebellion against Biden, especially in New Hampshire when the delegates.
Who the fuck is Dean Phillips?
Well, also the fact that the delegates didn't count, right? The fact that this was basically a scrimmage contest that Joe Biden didn't compete in. If a miracle happened and Phillips won, the line out of the DNC and out of Kate Bedingfield would have been, well, Biden boycotted the race, so of course he lost. He didn't run, right?
Yeah.
So Van Jones is right there. But the thing is, what this Kate Bedingfield woman is saying here is also true. And this is the point that I really want. This is the point that I've been trying to make. She's saying if there were this popular surge within the Democratic base that demanded, not tell a pollster, we wish someone else was running. Oh, it'd be nice if someone else ran. But no, if they actually demanded another candidate and went out en masse and supported a Dean Phillips or a Marianne, obviously, or when RFK was running an RFK, then you'd have a more of a case to make. In this case, like what she's saying is actually true. And I feel like a lot of progressives and leftists get baited into this argument. They get baited into saying, well, no, Van Jones is right, the process is rigged, and therefore everything you're saying is bullshit. She is obviously an operative. She obviously has no morals, no principles, no whatever. She's just a careerist, just an empty pantsuit, right? But what she's saying is actually true, which is that there was no appetite amongst the Democratic base to actually challenge Biden. Telling a pollster you wish someone else was running is not a challenge to Joe Biden. A challenge to Joe Biden is saying we will not vote for Joe Biden in a primary, and it takes that massive surge of support, of popular support among the actual voting base to generate any kind of momentum. Only once you've generated that can you demand debates, right? Donald Trump didn't debate anybody. You're not owed a debate just because you're running. You're owed a debate when you get enough popular support to feel like, or for the leading candidate to feel like they have to debate you, otherwise you're going to overtake them. So you're not owed media. You're not owed a debate. You're not owed anything when you decide to run. You have to generate enthusiasm amongst the voter base in order to put that pressure on the system. And inside the Democratic Party, you cannot do that. Why? Because the voters are stupid and sheep, and they will fall in line behind Joe Biden. So what Kate Bedingfield's saying there, as nasty as it sounds and as awful as it is, it's actually true. It is actually true. Now, what Van Jones is also saying is true, which is that the DNC doesn't play fair. I'm not saying that's not true. But what she says in counter to that, you have to actually take what she's saying, not as an invitation to challenge her and say, well, that's bullshit. Take that as your invitation to up and leave. Say, oh, you're right. You're right. This party didn't want anybody other than Joe Biden. They may have said they did, but they really don't. They didn't vote like they did. And so fuck you. We're out. We're not playing this game anymore. We're not dealing with these fucking people anymore. That's what you should take away from that segment. Not Van Jones owns Kate Bedingfield. No. Kate Bedingfield had a perfectly valid response, which is, yeah, maybe you don't want Joe Biden to be the leader of the party, but he is, and the voters proved that. And they did. They did prove that. You know why? Because they're fucking dumb. There you go.
Well, word is that Marianne actually was surging, but she really miscalculated the blood ties between New Hampshire and New York. So she said some nasty things about New York, and it killed her.
I know. I fucked her up at the end there, right at the last minute. I blew it for her.
That was it. Ever since 1692, when Jebediah Dobular, my actual great grandfather, came up from New York to sell schmatas in New Hampshire, there's been a close tie there. Yeah, she is right for the wrong reasons. You know, she framed it as the voters want Joe Biden. And sure, there's nuance there. And it's what you're saying. They don't want him. But it's a party of
they lack the will to demand anything different, which means they may as well want him. That's my point.
It's a party of hall monitoring alumni.
Right.
These are all. When have you ever met a Democrat who got in trouble in school when they were kids?
Exactly.
These are the good kids who always came with the permission slip and they did what they were told. They grew up to be.
Right. They don't want homework. They don't want homework. But if the teacher forgets to assign homework, they're the people who raise their hand. Hey, what about homework? It's not because they want homework. It's because they want to obey. They want to be in good standing with management, right?
Yeah,
that's what they want.
They want to show what good little boys and girls they are.
Exactly.
So that's who they have always been, and the people like that are attracted to the cultural signaling of the Democrats. So they want to be told what to do. Shit, man, if the Democrats ran a fair and open primary, they wouldn't know what the fuck to do with that. If you don't tell them what to do, they'll create a candidate who tells them what to do. Like these are people who are not comfortable with independent thought. And what's really remarkable is how much their rhetoric is built around the idea that they're the free and independent-minded people.
Right.
It's a fucking joke. It's a joke. So yeah, no, she's not wrong on the face of it, but she's wrong in the framing. That there's some kind of they don't even these people who went and wrote in Joe Biden, they don't want Joe Biden. I mean, maybe a few of them. They don't want Joe Biden. They want to do what the TV told them to do.
Right. And at a certain point, there becomes no difference, right? Like on election day, there is no difference.
Sure.
On election day, you either have what it takes to buck leadership or you don't. And inside the Democratic Party, the voters do not have what it takes. Whether they want, don't want, doesn't matter. You go into a ballot box, you check a box, and that's it.
Yeah, we learned that the hard way, man. Hey, look at us. Look at us fucking running around. Oh, look, the majority of Democrats support Bernie's policies. The majority of Democrats prefer Bernie to Biden. And what did it matter? All James Clyburn had to do was this.
Right. And the voters, no, I love Bernie.
The whole thing went up in smoke.
I want Medicare for all. I want everything Bernie wants, and I like the guy. So are you voting for him? Well, no. I mean, I gotta vote for Biden.
No,
the
thing with Bernie is,
Right.
there's a process of change. Right. It's incremental, and you got to know how to work the levers of power. And
exactly, that's what you get.
Fucking bullshit they read in the fucking Times and in the fucking Time magazine and here on the CNN. And you're never breaking through that. You really are dealing with cult members.
Yes, indeed.
Look how often we see in our comment section, hey, I'm a Republican. I'm a Trump voter. I may not agree with everything you guys say, but I appreciate your honesty. And you have made me think differently about a few things. And I realize maybe I'm more like, when have you ever seen somebody write in our comment section, hey, I'm a Democrat. And I'm a Biden voter, but watching your show has made me think I've never seen that once.
No,
never,
not once.
Not once.
Exactly. That's a great point. You've never seen that coming from the Biden MSNBC set. Not once. A single time.
Not once. And I promise
you. A couple of you guys, we have our suspicions. Couple of you guys. But, so maybe you are possible exceptions, but we're talking about you can count on one hand. Maybe. But we've never seen anybody actually say explicitly, I love Rachel Maddow, but you guys have made me rethink certain things. Never.
No. And I promise you, every single day, I could go through the comment section and find at least one new comment of that variety from a Republican or from a Trump voter or from a self-described conservative. I have literally never once seen that from the other side. Yeah, we have Democrats who come in to troll us on occasion. But I've never had one come and say, hey, you made me think about some things. Never.
Please clap.